Number 6 is Rikaichan. This is an absolutely amazing add-on for Firefox, an internet browser. If you don't have Firefox right now, I highly recommend you get it. It's add-ons like these that make it a really valuable browser. So what it does is it actually lets you hover over any bits of Japanese that's within your Firefox browser, and it'll show you a bigger version of the kanji, it'll show you the hiragana for that kanji, and or it'll show you the definition for the word that you hover over. This makes navigating the Japanese web so much easier. Sometimes you just gotta know what those crazy two-chaners are doing. Now if you have some Japanese you want to use Rikaichan on that's not within your internet browser, so say like a Word document or something, one thing you can do is actually copy and paste that into a Google document and then use Rikaichan from there. Rikaichan is an absolutely amazing way to help you read Japanese, and that's why it's my number 6. Number 7 out of my top 10 free resources for learning Japanese is actually iTunes, and more specifically the podcasts on iTunes. Apple does an amazing job organizing and collecting podcasts for your enjoyment. They also make it really easy to subscribe to a podcast so that you're constantly getting updates. Now, although you cannot download Japanese music without a Japanese credit card and or a Japanese iTunes gift card, you can download the podcasts, and they are all free. All you have to do is download iTunes, start up a new account with iTunes, and then scroll down to the home page of iTunes. Down at the very bottom there'll be a thing there that lets you choose your location. And if you set that as Nihon, or Japan, you can actually view all the things that a Japanese person would view on Japanese iTunes, which includes music, podcasts, movies, all sorts of things. But the only thing you'll probably be able to access is the podcasts. The really cool thing about this is if you have an English version of iTunes, all the categories and menus and stuff will remain in English. Though on the other hand, all of the content, like the actual podcasts, they will be in Japanese. So it's really easy to navigate Japanese iTunes, even though maybe you can't speak Japanese or read Japanese. One of the sections I actually suggest for a lot of people, especially beginners, is the kids section. They speak a little bit slower, and it may not be quite as entertaining, but you're probably going to understand a little bit more. For people who've been taking Japanese for a long time, any section is really game. For myself, I like the comedy section, because that way I can actually enjoy what I'm listening to, have a good time, and be learning something and just listening to a lot of Japanese. And that's why the podcast section of Apple iTunes is my number 7 choice for the top 10 online resources for learning Japanese free. My number 8 is Yamasa's Online Japanese Dictionary. Now, this dictionary is pretty good. I like Jim Breen and jisho.org a little bit better, but, you know, to each his own. One thing, though, that Yamasa's Japanese Dictionary does do really well and better than the others is their stroke order for kanji. You can put any kanji you want into the search box, and it'll come up and show you a step-by-step flash animation showing you the stroke order of a kanji. Other sites, such as Jim Breen, does this as well, but I think Yamasa does it a little bit better. So if you find that you're having trouble figuring out the stroke order for things, this might be the website for you. And that's why it's number 8. My number 9 is a program called Livestation. Basically what this program does is it allows you to watch television from all over the world live right on your computer. So of course we'll be focusing on the Japanese television here, but you can watch television from pretty much anywhere. The absolute best part about this program, though, is it actually runs on Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Not to mention that the program is really nice and easy and simple to use. The only problem I have with this program is my own fault, which is the time difference. If I want to watch anything decent, I gotta be up at about 3 or 4 in the morning. So basically what I find is I'm watching old dramas or the Home Shopping channel. But still, the commercials are priceless. And that's why live Japanese TV with Livestation is my number 9 pick. Commercials. My number 10, which is last and least, is Twitter. Twitter is a microblogging service that allows you to type up to 140 characters and tell people basically what you're doing right now. At least that's the theory. Now, Twitter has gained a lot of popularity in Japan, so there's a lot of Japanese Twitter users, which means there's a lot of Japanese people tweeting, which is what they call it in Twitter talk. This means that you can actually follow people who are tweeting in Japanese, and then just read what they have to say about what they're doing right now. Now, this seems pretty simple and dumb, and it kind of is, but honestly, that's the beauty about Twitter. It's easy. It'll only take you 10-15 minutes a day to read some people's tweets, as well as to tweet on your own in Japanese. 140 characters, that's nothing. So here's what I usually suggest people do. Follow people that you're interested or think you might be interested in, and if you're not interested in them after they do a few tweets, just unfollow them. The best thing to do is to find someone that is interesting so that you have someone that you can use to practice on. So you're translating their tweets and reading and getting practice, and you're interested and invested in it. The other thing you should do is actually tweet yourself, and tweet in Japanese. 140 characters isn't very much, which means it's not overwhelming, and that's the main thing. Another thing that I know some people do is actually tweet like a vocabulary word or a grammar point a day. So anything that they learn or any vocabulary that they learn, they'll tweet about it on Twitter, and that's one way to help yourself solidify what you already know, as well as help other people who might want to follow you. But the main thing is that Twitter is really easy to do, and that's why it's my number 10 pick in my top 10 free online resources for learning Japanese. So there you have it, that's a top 10 list. If you stuck around this long, I applaud you. Awkwardly. I have a lot more information on Tofugu.com, which is that link right over there. And in that link right over there, there's actually an ebook that I've written for your enjoyment, and it's absolutely free and you can go download it right now. There's more in-depth information about all the resources that I provided here today in this video, as well as pictures and other things like that. There's also more of that over on the website as well. So I hope this video was actually really useful for you, and I really appreciate you watching. If for some reason you did want to give back, you could do so by doing a video response, tweeting about it on Twitter, or even writing blog posts about it, using preferably the link over there. So I hope you enjoyed this top 10 list. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more suggestions or things that I missed or things that people really like using for learning Japanese, and I'm sure they'll be putting it in the comments. If you want to be really nice, you can put them in the comments over at tofugu.com because it's a lot easier to read that way, and it'll make it easier for other people to find those links as well. And you're allowed to actually link from there, unlike YouTube. So thank you very much, and if you have any questions, just feel free to email me. Cheers!